The government started constructing Kipchoge Keino Stadium in 2014 at a cost of 100 million, but until today, the stadium is not complete and nothing much is going on since the contractors also left the site as well.
And the stadium was the only hope for top cream and upcoming athletes from the region, but now it's just a dream, as many don't have a good field for their training. Let's talk to John Wanyama live from Eldoret, who's also talking to former champion athlete Moses Tanui. Wanyama, over to you.
Thank you, Zinze and Trevor, back there in studio. Indeed, as you have said, here in Eldoret at Kipchoge Keino Stadium, where we are starting now, is that the field is in a terrible state. And since 6 years ago, since this field started, the government started constructing it, nothing much is going on. As my cameraman just can give you, as he can show you what is really happening here, as you said earlier, is that contractors on the site left like 2 years ago. Nothing is totally happening here. Only 20% of this field has been constructed. And the question Kenyans are asking is, who ate or who swindled the money that was supposed to construct this particular stadium? Now, 6 years back down the line and nothing really is happening. Whatever the government had put or invested on this particular track is now rotting and wasting away. Like this tartan track that is here, where now athletes have been allowed to come in and at least to try and maybe train on it. It is so expensive, but no one is really coming here to maintain it. We have seen it, it's now rotting, it's wasting away. Now a question residents are asking, what is really going to happen now that this region, especially Uasin Gishu County, is where top cream athletes comes from, and nothing, government is doing nothing to ensure that this field or this stadium is complete. Now, if you can see at the center of this particular stadium, it used to be very useful. People used to come here, especially field events. Those athletes used to come and train there. But you can see it's just full of grass, nothing going on. They even destroyed what was better to the worst. Now, I would like just to talk to former champion Moses Tanui here, just to give us a feeling on what does this feel. Moses, when you come here, you see athletes trying to do whatever they can and ensure that they paint and put Kenya on a map on the world. And you come back home, you see this. How do you feel?
I'm very sad on what is happening at our stadiums. And it has taken too long to do the stadiums in this country. I want to ask our beloved president if he can do something for us. And you know very well that Kenyan athletes are the superpower in this country. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to train with. This is our home. We call the home of champions. In fact, you have seen a lot of young athletes training around here. This is another thing that is giving us a bad image in this country. If you can see the stadium for 6 years down the line, it is not ready. We have been asking, and for sure, we are requesting the government that they should do something for us, even though we know the investment that it has been done. Why is it wasted? You know, it is a waste of resource. So I'm asking the president to take action and make sure that our stadiums, that it has been in a good condition. It is deteriorating. It is becoming a huge relevant that has not been done. So for me, it is very sad. And you know, athletics is the map. The map is what we call, this shows Kenya as a country. And you see sports and athletics, when we are running, it unites all the communities in this country. It also shows the world that Kenya is united. This is what we should invest. And I'm asking the government that let us invest in even 2 stadiums. The high altitude stadium for high altitude training and one in the low altitude, like Mombasa or Kisumu, so that we can test our athletes, because high altitude is very tough to run with. But for training, we can have high altitude stadium, and then we have low altitude training, like what we have in Europe
Sure.
for testing our athletes. And also we can have major events, because you cannot also call for an international event to come to Kenya, because we have most of our stadiums are high altitude, which is very, very hard for Europeans or other countries to run. But if we have one in Mombasa, which is very low altitude, we will be hosting even the major even the World Championship can come to Kenya.
Okay. Moses, if this field 6 years ago, if you compare it before the government came and demolished whatever was there, which one will you prefer, this one or the one that was there before?
For now, I prefer the one that was there before, because it was, like field events. We don't have athletes that can train in field events, because they need to go outside and train outside. But if you have the measurements, you have the standard measurements that we are seeing in the field, it will assist the field athletes, field events athletes. Now, it was better not to start the stadium if the state is this one. But if the government is really like the athletes or sports people, because I'm talking also, this is also for football. We can play football here. But now we need the government to come up and give the young people, our youth, to train. This is part of youth, preventing them to do something different outside the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Moses. Trevor, let me talk to one of the athletes who is training here. How are you, Collins? And maybe what is the state of this stadium now you are training here?
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Definitely, I'm not happy, because since our Jubilee government had expressed their ambition and vision that in 6 months' time, that was back 2014, we were very optimistic as young people that some of us who are starters athletes, we saw it was a good privilege for us to have a better stadium like the one that other people outside the country that are using. And it's so absurd, because to be honest, previous stadium it was a little bit better. Here, calling the city of champion in a Rift Valley, where we most of our athletes who are champions, who are the legends, like the former Moses and Kipchoge Keino and other key heroes, legends. I can say when they see this kind of a stadium with this kind of a government, it's so disappointing. For instance, you see, we are so disadvantaged for the young people who are training the field events. Like the javelin, discus, you have quite number of young people here. They're ready to have those field events, but they're not in a position because they lack facilities. And we are requesting the government to fast track the construction of this site. And it's now, I remember the second term during the Jubilee Manifesto, our Deputy President said in 6 months' time, this stadium will be finished. But now it's 6 years down the line. We don't understand really what is not happening. We think it's good and the high time then the government to respond. If the contractor they're not working well, then they should look for another new contractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Collins. Thank you. Trevor and Zinzi, as you have heard from these athletes here, they are all sad. They are saying the state and the manner in which this stadium is in, it's so horrible that even athletes, they don't have maybe toilets where they can go, maybe if they want to relieve themselves. They don't have a changing room where they can go change whenever they are coming to this particular stadium. So if you are going to change somewhere in a bush, you must be careful so that no one can see you while changing. But all in all, the question residents and everyone is asking, why is the government so adamant about listening to athletes, whatever they are saying or whatever they are crying for? The most people who are selling the country, especially worldwide, are athletes of Kenya that are painting and giving Kenyan a topmost name. And why is it the government is not really working, not responding? This is the fourth time, Zinzi and Trevor, we are coming to this particular field to address the same issue, but it seems no one is listening. Recently, Governor Jackson Mandago said they want, if the government bring the money to construct this particular stadium, then they should allow the government to be the one to monitor and to supervise those contractors who will be constructing this particular field. And according to him, it will be easy for them to maybe to supervise to ensure that this particular stadium is constructed and it's really complete on time.